Okay, so let's talk about websites and should your business have one? Well, it would seem as if the obvious answer is yes, but then recently there has been debate about whether or not you really need a website. When you have options like social media, when you have options like just having a landing page, when you have so many other technology platforms, people are beginning to wonder, well, do I really need a website for my business? Well, regardless of the trends, I believe that it becomes the platform of your digital presence, okay? So in my opinion, in my experience, it is really beneficial to your business to have a website. And here's some of the reasons why. It becomes the backbone of your digital presence. Like I said, you could have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you can have all these different social media platforms, but it's important to have a place where they all go back to, right? Because for one, a website you can own, it can become yours. Social media, Facebook, you may be able to create a page on Facebook, but it doesn't belong to you, it belongs to Facebook. When you create something on Twitter, it's your Twitter page, yes, but it still belongs to Twitter. If Twitter decides that they want to take their platform down tomorrow, then what are you left with, right? However, your website is your website. Unless you are building it on a platform that someone else controls, your website and the content on it is yours. So when you are going to go through the effort of digital marketing where you're trying to bring in more leads and drive more traffic to your business, you want to drive traffic to something that you own, okay? So think of your website as your business in a digital space. Okay, this is especially important for people who have brick and mortar companies because yes, you may have a physical location that you conduct business out of, but your website is a digital representation of that same business. And so you will want to make sure that that's something that you own as well. Okay, so it's going to be the place where people initially look for you. If they find out about you, they're going to want to go to your website because that's the place where you have the freedom to explain who you are, what your products and services are, how they can get in contact with you and all of that. If everything else fails, your website should remain true to who you are and should communicate to your people what it is that you do and how they can interact with you, okay? So yes, if you don't have a website, I would definitely say your first line of business for succeeding online is to get a website. It doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be complicated, but at least have a place with a domain that represents your company and vital information that people will need in order to get to know more about your business. That's foundational, and then you could build upon that, okay? So when we talk about, having a website, okay, that's great and fine and all, but what should your business website have? And I already touched on this a little bit. Aside from all the bells and whistles, if you take all the bells and whistles away, okay, the initial things that your business should have is, for one, your contact information. How can they reach you? It may be a phone number, it may be an email address, it may be a form that actually sends messages to your email address, which is better than putting your email address online. Please don't do that. But it should give people a way to contact you. That's foundational, okay? It should also describe what your business is, who you are, and what you do, okay? And it should be clear and concise. They should be able to pick up immediately what it is that you do. As soon as you cause a person to have to struggle, or if there's any strain in figuring out what it is that they're looking for, they'll immediately bounce and go to the next website, or God forbid, your customer, right? So you want to make sure that you're extremely clear about what it is that you do. I am a shoe manufacturer, and this is my product. This is what I do. This is how much they cost. These are the options that I have, and this is how you can pay for it, and this is how you can contact me if there's any questions, okay? Make it extremely simple for people. So definitely clearly define your company, your products and services, and how they can contact you. That's what we talked about so far. Another thing, when you are building your website, make sure that your website domain, or your what we call your web address or your URL, is extremely easy to remember. It should be a web address that reflects your company. If it's not your company name, let's say it's taken for whatever reason, maybe it's your products and services and what you do, but it should be extremely easy to remember, and it should be easy to type in. Try to refrain from using dashes if you can, and also make sure that the ending of your web address, what we call like the .net, .com, .org, reflects what your actual institution is. So for instance, .gov, that is reserved for government authority. I mean, these are things that we already know, right? .org is for, most likely nonprofit organizations or organizations that are established to do some type of community service, right? But now there's like a list of hundreds of different ones that you can choose. So you want to make sure that you choose something that speaks to the legitimacy of your company. A lot of people are used to saying .com these days, but that's not to say that you can't use .biz or .school. They have all of these available. A lot of them are a lot more expensive because they speak to a specific industry, but the most common is .com. However, if you get into the situation where your perfect name isn't available, then that's when you will begin to consider some of the others to still get your domain name, but the ending could be a little different, but it still allows you to be able to get the domain that you're looking for. Another key thing that you need for your website is easy navigation, okay? The last thing that people want to do is to be searching all of your website trying to get their questions answered. Are they looking for your services? Are they looking for a specific brand of something that you sell? Are they looking for a specific topic, that you write about? You want to make sure that they can easily navigate your website. Okay, so that would pertain to the menu, making it very clear with main categories, and if you have to have subcategories or sub pages, then you make sure that that is something that they can find in your menu, in the header and or in the footer of your website. Okay, try to refrain from using deep levels of menus, and unless it's absolutely necessary. Most of your businesses and most of the things that you are dealing with do not need that type of complexity. Try to keep it as simple as possible. Think about this as if it was a company that you are looking for products and services for, and how deep would you want to go, or how many clicks do you want to have in order to find the information? Probably not a lot, right? You don't have time to be frustrated. You don't have time to think about it. Think about if you only had maybe 2 minutes to find something. How quickly can your customers, your potential customers, find that information on your own website? Okay, so make it as clean and clear as possible. Another thing that you want to consider is just the overall goal of your website, okay? So think about, before you even go through the process of building a website, you want to ask, what are the things that I want my visitors to actually do on my website? Is it just that I want them to get information about me? Is it that I want them to order products? Is it that I want them to download materials? Is it that I want them to book appointments? Is it that I want them to book a consultation? What is the end goal of your website? All of this, if you summarize it, is called the call to action. What is the action that you want your customers to take when they have spent a little bit of time on your website? Okay, so if that's the main thing, that everything that they see or that they experience on your website should lead them to that call to action. Okay, should lead them to purchasing something, or to downloading something, or to booking a consultation with you, or something like that. Okay, so with that call to action in mind, be thinking about how the flow of your website, the navigation, the content that you provide on your website actually will lead them to taking that step on your website. And so then, speaking about the content, make sure that your content is fresh, okay? You want it to reflect who you are. You want it to reflect your tone. Every company, every business has their own feel, right? When you enter into a steakhouse to go out to dinner, you expect a certain ambiance, you expect a certain feel, when you enter that atmosphere. But then when you go to, like, say, Five Guys, you don't expect that same atmosphere. You want your burger and you want it now, So it's like their atmosphere is something to be said. The experience weighs a lot on what people expect from the company. And so that's the same thing with the content that you bring. The content, your content should reflect the real tone of your business. When you are writing content, or whether you're making videos or you're creating images, or even just the overall design of your website, should all reflect the tone and the style, written and unwritten, verbal and nonverbal, of your company. Okay, so you want to make sure that anytime you're developing something for your visitors, that you're providing valuable content. Okay, they should be able to feel like they've gotten something from visiting your website, from reading an article, from watching a video, things like that. Little takeaways that they can take along with them to say, hey, I'm glad I spent my time watching this, or I'm glad I spent my time reading this. Okay. So another thing that you want to consider to have on your website is to definitely get customer reviews. If you're a new business, you may not have any yet, but as you begin to get customers, make sure you give them an opportunity to leave a review about their experience with you. The reason why is because you want to take that testimonial and put it on your website so that others can see that this is what their experience has been with you. It gives other people a chance to kind of walk through their shoes and to see what the experience is like with you without actually having had done it first. Okay, so it takes the pressure off a little bit, and so I definitely encourage getting some reviews, definitely putting them on your website, and just giving other people a chance to get to know you a little bit more from different angles. So those are some of the reasons, and those are some of the things that you can make sure that you have on your business website in order to lay the foundation for success online. And you should definitely, to answer the first question, you should definitely have a website, because again, it is a foundational piece that you can build your marketing plan on. Okay, when you have social media, when you start going into social media marketing, when you start going into email marketing and doing SEO and PPC and all of these things, you need to have a base to bring it all back into. Okay, and so it gets kind of disjointed when you don't have a website. So my recommendation is definitely get a website, and definitely think about these things that should be on your website when you get it developed. If you have any questions, let me know. Just leave your comments down in the section below. Subscribe to my channel. I know I'm new actually to the YouTube channel, but I just want to have a chat with you guys. Just let me know if you have any questions, and I'll definitely create videos to answer those. And I look forward to talking about some other topics as well. So take care. Talk to you soon.